And we are live. Good evening, everyone. We are here just 5 minutes before we start the show tonight. We just want to welcome everyone as you come in. And as you can see here, we have, let's see if I can point my finger the right way. Christi Cariker Hurst right over here. No, that's the other way with us. The thumb goes that way. And Kenny V.
Hello.
He's got the name Kenny V now, Christi. So
sort of like Kenny G.
Maybe he'd like to think so. Yeah, no, I don't know.
This is money. I don't need to hear anything.
Okay, now someone says we don't have any sound. No sound. No sound. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Looks like my husband joined.
Oh, good. Good. We'll see if we have some sound here. If somebody else is out there can't hear us, huh? Okay, I don't know why. Let me do this. Can you hear us now?
Thanks, question.
I know, just leave it. Can you hear us now?
Nope. Teresa says no.
Okay, Teresa can hear. She
said I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, and Sandy and Joanne, can you hear us too? We'll just wait and they'll say. She said we could. You could hear us.
Teresa said I can.
Okay, no sound.
Are you there, Sandy? Sandy.
Testing. One.
Oh. Gregory.
Where's she? Oh, where did you see Sharon at?
She just joined.
Okay. Well, you're seeing more than I did. I have not.
Because I'm cheating. I have my phone up next to you so I can see.
That's great. The picture's really clear, but no sound on my end. Oh, okay. Can anybody else not hear us? Well, they can't hear us.
Sharon can hear me.
Hi there.
Hey, Sharon.
Did she say she could hear?
She just said hi there, so I'm assuming she said she has great sound. There you go. I happen to know that my husband is driving, so he probably should not be watching this, and he better not be commenting. I was driving.
Mr. Hurst, you better not be. Okay. Yeah.
Teresa's going to straighten her out.
There you go. Yeah. Teresa's our oldest daughter. She's here.
Who's the favorite?
Oh. Uh-oh. If Beth is watching, you are just in big trouble.
Beth is the baby.
Hey, Bill. Let's see. And hi, Bill. Can you hear us okay, Bill? He's our video techie upholstery friend up in Massachusetts.
I was going to say he's a long way away to fix the video problem.
I know. No problem. Can you hear us? And then Sharon's here, and Teresa, and Joanne Wimperdink. Let us know if you can hear us. And Sandy Brink is a neighbor of ours. Hello, Sandy.
Bill says yes.
Okay, great.
Hope Tom's in there too.
Oh, and Ruth Zoller from
Minnesota.
Minnesota is here. Yeah. So as you all come in, just Dad, did you just love my hippie juice? Hi, Ruth.
I don't drink.
Oh. As you all come in, just tell us hello. Let us know you're here, and you know, this is just as some people say, it's the show before the show. I've heard that. Another one, someone does a show and they go, it's the show before the show.
What's that say?
They say they can hear us. Everything looks good.
Like can't in there.
Yes, can't hear a word.
Well, Sandy said she can't, so.
I think maybe.
It's got to be on there, right?
Yeah, maybe, since everybody else is hearing us.
Yeah. Turn your volume. Well, I guess they can't hear me. They can't hear me. Tell them to turn their volume up. Hey, and Kimberly said, "Hey, Christi, what Kimberly said?
Hi, Kimberly.
Hey, Christi, I wouldn't agree with
I believe you got busted.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Don't be saying that stuff once we go live to the world.
Yeah. Teresa was over here around the 4th of July with us, and she was bound and determined to get us to try this hippie juice. So, okay. So, are you ready to start this show?
Yeah.
You ready to start the show, Christy?
Always ready.
Okay. All right. Well, good
Hello.
evening, everyone. Oh my gosh, I forgot whose show it is.
Exactly. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with Kenny V and
Sandra.
you hit it.
Oh, so now it's my turn. Seeing it, how he changes the table. I mean, I got to move closer to him so he can speak in here. Anyway, welcome everyone. As you come in, please say hello. If you know other peeps out there, tell them hello too. Let us know where you're from. And Christy, you have some Corey Riley.
Corey's my friend from the Valley. She lives here in Waco now too. She's going to come start working for me.
Oh, awesome. Well, hello, Corey. Glad to have you here tonight. We are here on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we like to bring you techniques and hopefully some inspiration that will help make your work life a little bit easier. As you come in, like I said, please say hello. Like I said, if there's other folks out there that you know, say hello to them as well. Hit that share button so others can follow us and join in on Tuesday nights. And I just want to say tonight, we have a very special guest with us, Christi Cariker Hurst. Hey, Christi. She is a former designer on the hit show Trading Spaces, and she owns a retail store called Christie's, which is located in Waco, Texas. And she also has this luscious bedding and pillow line that she has designed and has produced, and it's called Moon Rain. And she is going to tell us a little bit more about that in just a few moments. And then also kind of carry us along with her very inspiring journey. So,
what a journey it is.
Christy and I had a great chat yesterday, and I found out some more that I didn't know about her. And it is, I came away yesterday, Christy. I should have texted you. I was very inspired and excited. So I'm glad that you're here with us tonight.
Thank you. And you inspired me as well.
Okay, good. And, you know, I want to say, too, just before we came on tonight, I got this post that popped up on my feed. And I think most of you know I have a book club on Wednesday mornings, and everyone's welcome to join in. And we are currently reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And so he's been popping up on my feed, and he's had these great quotes, and I think a lot of them come from his book. And this, I think, really pertains to us. And it says, success is waking up every day with the feeling that the work that you are doing will outlast you. And so it's built not on what you achieve, but what you help those around you achieve.
There you go.
So I thought that was great, and I wanted to share it with everyone because that's what we're trying to do here. And what Christy's trying to do too is just, you know, share the knowledge and inspire others to move forward with their life, their dreams. So exciting. Okay, what I'm going to do now, Christy, I'm going to put you back in the lobby, and then I'm going to be turning this over to Ken because his viewers send in questions for him, and he's going to talk. He has some insulation techniques for his viewers, and then I'm going to bring you back in just a few moments. Okay?
Sounds good. Don't forget me.
I won't. I'll be able to see you, and if I do, just kind of do that number. All right? Okay.
Good luck. Clear it up.
Okay. All right. So here we are. And like I said, everyone, share this out there. And hey, Deborah, I just want to say hello to everybody first. We have, moving on down, we have Susan Palmer. Hello. And we have, let's see, Amy Nails is my niece. Hello, Amy. And let me scroll down. And Deborah Cronin. Oh, you were able to make it tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I know you said you're on the road on Tuesday night, so I'm glad you're here. CJ Hunt. Hey, and she said hello to Ruth. And Sharon shared, thank you so much. And I think we've said hello to Corey and Sandy Brink and Ruth Zoller. She loved our backdrop. Yes, thank you so much for that. And then we've got Kimberly here, Shagnon and Bill Shagnon, our friends from Massachusetts, and Teresa. So I think I've got everyone. If I have forgotten you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to, but it scrolls pretty quickly when you all are making comments. Oh, and Janice. Hey, Janice from Maryland. Glad that you're here. And Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I'm glad you made it tonight as well. Okay. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Ken because he's got some installation tips for you.
Well, good evening, all. Great to have you join us this week. And as an installer, it's important to me to share some information. It seems like there's a lack of installers out there. And so I got quite a few questions. And this week, we're going to answer a question we got from some feedback for those who've watched Sandra's cornice video. So are you rolling?
Yeah, I'm gonna move out of his way. So
one of the questions I get asked most is just how high do you hang board mounted treatments? And that a lot of that information is established when you go to the measuring appointment or consultation, depending on the skill of the designer or the homeowner. You might need to walk them through a lot of details. One of the couple of things that I look at is the size of the room, the amount of light. Is there a covered porch blocking the light? The number of windows, how much room there's above the window, wall space I'm referring to, and things like that. Depending on, you get a lot of people that want to mount the treatments, board mounted treatments, as high as possible. I'm not a big fan of that personally if there's wall space available. So let me slide my little prop into the camera view here real quick. And I didn't graduate from any fancy artist school, so please ignore the I think we got to move the camera or something here because it doesn't seem like it's all the way in there.
okay, let me just move it for you.
I think you need to move that.
Okay.
So, anyways, this is a triple window that I drew on my little fake wall here, and this red lines, that would be the mullions that it divides. Sometimes you get the grill inside the window. And just this is the outside of the window here, outside of the trim, and it's just got really wide trim on this particular window. So in this situation here, it looks like we have a substantial amount of wall space above the window. And in this case, I would probably aim to mount somewhere in the middle of this space, and instead of all the way up. Because if it was to scale all the way up, that would be a pretty sizable face finish length or long point or short point of the valance cornice. So what I would do is I normally, on a window this size, or one thing, let me get started. There's a couple rules I picked up from just working with different designers. And one of the rules is like a 20% rule. Is about the size that you want to make the finish length, short point, long point of the face of the valance or cornice. And so what you do is you just take the floor to ceiling measurement and then divide by 5. And that's the easiest way. And a lot of people can do that in their head type thing. So say it was 100 inches or 96 inches, it would be like close to 18 inches would be appropriate size, because you don't want anything to be out of scale. You want it to be close to scale and balance as possible, so it doesn't look like it's too small in a large room or too large in a small room. So if we do that mathematics, the sweet spot tends to be in the 18 to 20 range, and I have put some up that were 10 to 12 just because it was maybe only an 8-foot ceiling, and light was certainly a concern. and we still wanted to cover whatever we wanted to cover at the top there, or just add the color and softness of the valance window treatment. So I normally, if I have plenty of wall space, I'm going to probably go about 10 to 8 inches above. And then the window trim here is normally about, until you get to the glass, is probably in the 5 to 6, 7 inch range, depending on the thickness of your trim. Excuse me, the width of your trim. And so we don't, and then also you have to be concerned about covering the top of the valance if you have valances in the window for the blind, or a cell shade headrail, that type of thing. And so you'd want that treatment to come down just a couple inches below that, because when you stand back, if you get up close, you'll be able to see it right up underneath it. But normally people would want to have a vantage point farther back into the room so they can enjoy the whole window and the whole treatment, and hopefully a nice view outside the window. So we normally wouldn't try to go down as low as one of these grid lines, but it also depends on what type of, if they have a treatment there, a blind or shade that they use for light control and privacy. So I drew the grid lines on there because sometimes a long point or short point, we might want to get close to one of those. So you kind of need to determine what type of treatment you're looking for so you know how to measure appropriately for that. So if we have plenty of wall, I'm going to go about 5 or 6 inches up. If somebody says they want it to go as high as possible, then I normally am not a big fan of going right up underneath the crown molding. And the reason why that is because it kind of breaks up the crown molding line. And so I would recommend going down about 2 or 3 inches down. And that way you can still see that crown molding line, or the little neck molding if they get, depending on the type of trim that they have in the room. And I think that looks well, because you're going to have a little bit of projection coming out, and that brings me to that projection. You have to figure out what you need to get out past. Do the blinds, are they mounted on the outside and have a good projection out there? Are they mounted on the inside? So you got to kind of look from the side, hold a little gauge up there, hold something flat off the front of the blind, and then kind of gauge what it is back to the wall to help you establish that. And if you are lucky and the blinds are mounted on the inside, or shades, or there's nothing at all, then I tried to just stick with the lowest projection possible. And that would normally be like a 3.5 inch board, which is a 1x4 if you go to Home Depot, which is my big box store of choice. And or if you're trying to get out past a large blind, then maybe a 1x6, which would be a 5.5 inch projection. And like today, actually, I was with the designer, and we were getting out past a vertical blind. So that was actually mounted on a 1x8. It gave us a 7.5 inch projection. And then there were some other valances in the same area, which were mounted on a 3.5 because they didn't have to come out past that large projection item underneath it. But when I do the projection, you have to be concerned about having the appropriate size angle irons. And so I have a series of them that I keep with me. And I have all the way from 1 inch projection all the way up to a 4 inch projection normally in the van. And you can see I have white ones, and they just blend in with the lining of the underneath the window treatment and add nicely. I do have a couple of these larger ones, which is I think 6 inches and then maybe 8 inches this direction. But I don't use a whole lot of those. It just kind of depends on the projection that you have to get out past. So I get the brackets from Rowley Company, and they're a great source. And the white ones are just slightly more expensive than the zinc ones, and I think they look make you look a little more professional because people can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get the zinc ones, and you normally can't find the white ones except for like Lowe's or Rowley Company. So if you have a large face, long point, then we had a question from a customer or a person online. How do you get up underneath there to attach the screws to the window treatment to the angle irons with the screws. Well, one way you do that is you have these extensions. And this is a hex head bit on the end there. And this happens to be a 12-inch extension. And depends on if it's a soft treatment, you might be able to just raise it up briefly and use a smaller extension. But if you have a cornice board, you're going to need that attached to your drill. And it just goes into a little quick release. And then, of course, you got a screw in there. And then it goes up underneath. And I'm fortunate enough to have a light on the end of my drill. So if you're going up underneath the cornice, it's dark in there. And so that light will project up and allow you to find that angle iron bracket there. Now, if you happen to need larger, and I have, so that's why I have this other extension. This is another extension that has quick release, and that gives me a total of 24 inches plus the part of the drill. So that is pretty substantial, and I hadn't had a case where I needed to go any larger than that, because that would be anything larger than that would get awfully hard to hold as well as get up underneath it if it's any kind of treatment of any particular size. So,
can I interrupt you? Did you say that did you say that you got those brackets from Rollies? Because that was a question from Kim.
Yeah, and I keep mentioning Rolly Company and Home Depot because I'm still looking for that sponsorship from them. And eventually they're going to find out about me and start sending me some checks. So I'm looking forward to that day because that might allow me to finish up early from the installation, get off the ladder a little bit. But when I'm at the customer's home and we're determining with the designer, if necessary, depends on who's all there, I will hold up to establish the long point and the short point. Of course, this is way out of scale, but I'll hold the tape measure up above the window where I think it needs to go, and then I'll tell them, in this case here, we're probably looking at about a 4-inch long point, which in my most cases would translate, like I mentioned, that sweet spot of 16 to 18 to 20 inches length on a full-size window. This is a little bit smaller than you normally see in houses. So I would hold the tape measure up and then let them tell me where they think it's appropriate, and I will hold my thumb. If they say, oh, I think 4 is the number, I'll hold my thumb down there so they can kind of get an idea where the bottom would be. And once they tell me that, then I'm going to say, okay, well, at 4, I'm going to mount it 2 inches above in this situation here. It may be very well be the 8 or 10 inches in real life size window. And so I'm going to make that note. So when I go back with the window treatment, or if the treatment is there being delivered by somebody else, then I'll know exactly where we talked about going. And I may ask if there was any changes to the initial numbers that we spoke about. And do I need to hold the valance back up or the cornice back up to establish that, proper height again? Because everything's fluid, and we're just, guessing at the measuring measuring appointment, where we think it wants to go. But once it gets full size and you have that projection, that could change the appearance of it, and people may change their mind. And that's their prerogative.
Bill did want to know what brand drill was that?
I use a Bosch drill, and this is a 12-volt battery powered lithium. And they advertise it to run 100 screws 3 inches long into solid wood on one battery charge. And I believe that to be true with the amount of screwing around I do every day. The battery will fully charge in approximately 30 minutes. And that is also true, although I have multiple batteries and I don't need to worry about waiting for it to charge during the day. I have like 4 of them in my bag. And I have ran through 3 drills. I was just organizing the garage a little bit, and I found 3 old Bosch drills that I think I've wore the brushes out on. But that's over a span of about 14, 15 years. And there are days where I am using that thing constantly, especially if I have a whole house full of shutters, 300-400 square foot of shutters. And if the battery's fresh, I might be able to get through all of those in one battery life. And that's important because, that's solid wood that you're dealing with when you're dealing right around the window area. It's when you get out here into the sheetrock that you're going to get a larger or longer battery life, because it's not the amount of friction in there unless you're constantly hitting studs. And if you are, I want to take you to Las Vegas, because that's not my luck. But sometimes you need to have a different type of bracket. If you only have a very limited amount of space above the window, then sometimes you have to have that short leg bracket just to add a little center support, somewhere in the middle here. Now, normally when I mount the L brackets, if we're going to make the valance or cornice probably most times about 1.5 inches wider on each side, so a total 3 inches wider than the overall window trim measurement. And if necessary, it's a large enough projection and you don't have that space above, then you can put the larger L brackets down the side, coming down the side of the trim, to support the sides, and then the ones in the middle you can make use the shorter ones, because they don't have to hold the weight; they're just holding it, straight, so the board is straight and doesn't sag over time. And then my other friend is blue tape, which if you've watched any of my shows or seen this at all, I always have a piece of blue tape, and that's what I would use when I hold the valance up there. If I hold the valance up there, I'll hold it up, and then I'll put a piece of blue tape at the top, and they'll say that, yep, that looks good. And I'll say, is it right where the tape is at? Because if it's a wide treatment, I can't be guaranteed that I'm holding it level. I'm normally not too extreme, but it cannot be perfectly level. Say if it's between 8 and 10 foot wide. Excuse me.
Okay.
So what I would do then is you just minus the 3/4 of an inch for the thickness of the board, and then that's where the top of the angle iron would go. Now, one other quick thing before I get rushed off the screen here is that if somebody wants it to go all the way up to the crown molding, if they have crown molding, or if they don't have crown molding, and you want to go all the way to the ceiling, then I make it 7/8 of an inch down, and that 7/8 of an inch thickness. This happens to be the thickness of my ruler. And when I say my ruler, it actually has my name on it, and it is my ruler. And if you want one of these precious little babies, you got to come see me in person and get some actual training. Or I might be able to drop some by if you're at a class or someplace nearby. But I think that answered, hopefully that answered some questions, or maybe generated some new questions. And if you have some new questions, make sure you send those to us. Or maybe express it in the little comment section here tonight, and if there's time permitting, I'll come back and entertain that for you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Shift everything over here. Kenny B. Sharon said, we don't have any of those special rulers. Well, we'll see what we can do, Sharon. You know where we are. And Bill said, thanks. And I'm going to bring Christi in here real quick. And while she's coming in, I think I need to get into the camera. Range remove. Can you tilt the camera just a little bit for me? Got to shift things around. We're still working everything out here, getting our space set up a little bit more every week. That's good. And hello, Christi.
Hi, I'm having to walk back all this. I guess Ken was so electrifying that he drained my battery on my computer.
Oh, good. While you're getting situated, I'm just going to tell everyone hello. And again, as you come in, say hello to your peeps out there. And Donna's here, and Jackie's here, and Phil said, thanks, Ken, and Kimberly said, great info, Ken, and Sharon said, thank you, Kenny B.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. And then Sharon, Teresa said, Dad made a big mess, and Kathy's here too. Hello, Kathy, and I think our friend's out there too. Edward, if you're there, say hello. I thought I saw you pop in.
He did. I'd be really surprised. I thought he was a little technologically challenged when it came to Facebook.
He can do it. He can do it.
Sandra's taught him a few things.
But anyway, just want to remind everyone that if you all have questions, go ahead during the week or whatever. If you have questions, type them into either the Live with Sandra V page or the Ken's Facebook page out there. Install What's New, and when we come on Tuesdays, he will answer. He will have everything ready to answer those for you. So there you go. So we are, and Corey said that she loves your talk.
Oh, thank you, Corey. My ode to the Valley. You know, we're from the Rio Grande Valley of Texas.
Those need to kind of come down.
Have a little fiesta.
Yeah, we're going to come visit you. We love to come visit people.
You have to. Waco's the hopping and happening place right now.
So we've heard. I didn't realize that you were out in the Magnolia.
I'm in the Silo District.
Did not know that. But anyway, well.
Your blue tape, Sandra.
What'd you say?
Blue tape on your shirt.
I didn't see that. Did you see our little video that we put out there? He's like, that's, and he'll end on this blue tape note too.
Okay.
I'm a blue tape. Okay. Anyway, I want to just go ahead and say, welcome, Christi. I'm so glad that you have agreed to be on this show with us. You know, you and I met through a very mutual friend, Edward Walker, a number of years ago. And, I have followed you on Facebook over the years and just see, number one, your love for horses and just all the things that you're doing. That is great right there. You can. And we got Mr. Kenny B over here moving things around on me. And it's pretty organic here. This is a live show. So, but anyway. So, and you just, we're going to talk about all the things that you're doing, but you just have this entrepreneurial spirit. And it's like, oh my gosh, look at her. Oh my gosh, look at that. And so I get so excited and I'm so inspired. And even talking to you yesterday, I walked away. I was like on cloud nine the rest of the day because I'm like, you really inspired me. And I was excited. So welcome. Now, I want to take you back to the beginning. And let's go back a little bit. And are you a native of Waco?
No, actually, I'm a native Texan. My dad was a Baptist minister, so we lived all over the state of Texas.
Uh-huh.
In 1984, I went to Baylor and never left. So got there as fast as I could, or here.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so you stayed there. Now, what did you go to school for?
I actually started Baylor. I have a degree in interior design. I'm a licensed registered interior designer. But I started out at Baylor as a art major, of all things. And I realized through that first year at college that if I was going to make any kind of money at all, I probably needed to do something that I didn't have to just sell art and I didn't want to do commercial art and things like that, graphic design. So my mother, God rest her soul, was hysterical and funny and had such great insight in life. And she said, Christi, she said, really, you need to be an interior designer because Saturdays, if I don't know where you are, but I know you're in the house, I know that in a couple of hours, you're going to come out of your room and it's not going to look like the same room. She said, it's in your blood.
So obviously then your early aspirations are not, your earlier goal was not to be a designer, but your mom really saw that in you and she nurtured it.
She did. And she was crazy anyway. So, that's where I kind of got they call me Little Mary. So I came by it honestly. My mom's name was Mary. So.
Oh, that's interesting. My grandmother, who taught me how to sew when I was 5, her name was Mary. This is something you just told me I didn't know. And that's what we named the shop here because it's called Mary's Place, actually, because of her. Yeah.
Well, you'll get a kick out of this. My mother would sew growing up. And yeah, Corey says, Mama Mary was a hoot. Corey knows my mom was a hoot. She would sew. She would, she's very creative. Well, for years, she tried to get me to make things with her, to learn to sew. She wanted to teach me, and I wouldn't do it. And then when I went to college and I needed clothes for interviews and stuff, I didn't have any money. And so I started teaching myself how to sew, which to this day, I would still never let you see the inside of something I made.
Oh my God. I bet you probably do a really good job. You probably a better job than you realize. Oh,
Fourth career.
yeah, Ken said that would be your fourth career.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So after you graduated, what happened then?
Well, after I graduated from high school or Baylor?
From Baylor.
Because, I mean, Baylor, that's pretty much high school to Baylor.
Yes.
I was still in town working, and I thought about moving to San Antonio and a couple other places, and I threw some resumes out there, and it just nothing ever stuck. Nothing ever worked. So I went to work for an architect here in town, and he kept me busy for a little while until the projects he had me working on kind of ended. And so I went to work for a furniture store. And at that time, I met some of my biggest clients. And that's when I decided to open my own little design business. Well, at the time, I had like $150 to my name. And I was begging office space from people around town. And a little carpet and drapery shop here in Waco said, yeah, you can come here. Well, basically what they did is they put me a phone line in the warehouse. And so I had my little desk in the warehouse in the back while the UPS shipments are coming in and everything. And me and my little $150, we got started, and I started my first little design business. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then from there, it just ended up, I did all kinds of things. I kept the design business going, and then I opened a company here about 20 years ago with a friend of mine called Spice Furniture and Design, and now it's called Spice Village. It's still there. So, and then Trading Spaces came a knocking, and there I went.
Wow. Now, did you ever think, I want you to tell about that journey too, but did you ever think that, your career, from want to be art major to designer, and then everything evolved into being on a television show? Did you ever think that would happen? I mean, was that a goal that you set, or?
No. I mean, it was the craziest thing. I was at home one night, and to be a licensed designer in the state of Texas, you have to do continuing education courses. And so I was on the ASID, or American Society of Interior Design website, looking for my continuing education courses. I was on their newsletter, and there was a little ad on there from, didn't say who, saying that they were looking for designers for a reality-based TV show. And so I answered that as a joke. And I thought, ha, 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 that's funny, and boy, the next thing you know, I get an email back. Yeah, we're interested. Send us a video and a portfolio. Oh my gosh. 2 weeks later, I'm flying to LA for an audition. Crazy.
Oh my gosh. And so, did you know, at one point, did they tell you that it was for a show, a television? Well, because Trading Spaces had already been,
it was already out. This was 2003, so it had been out 2 years. They were getting ready to start the third season.
Okay.
So it was after she responded. It was Mary Beth Anderson. Mary Beth Anderson. Oh my gosh, Mary Beth. I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name for some reason. She got married. So anyway, Mary Beth sent me this email back. She was one of the producers, and then after a couple of emails, it became known to me at that time that it was Trading Spaces. And I thought, and okay, I have to admit, I was that typical interior designer that was like, oh, I'm not going to watch Trading Spaces. That's not real design. I hardly watched it. So let me tell you, I had to do some binge Trading Spaces watching to keep up, because I had no idea. I'd seen maybe 3.
Oh my God. So I know some of this journey, but I don't think our viewers do. So tell us about your trip to because I found that interesting. And by the way, everyone out there, if you have questions for Christi, go ahead and type them in, and we'll put them up here on the screen too. So, but this was, I think, this might have done me in, but so let's so tell the story.
Okay, so I was emailing back and forth, and I think we talked about this yesterday too. You know, you were like, "Did you expect it? What did you think? What did it put you in a tailspin?" And I told Sandra, I said, I was up in the middle of the night every night looking at the ceiling on the couch, going, "Okay, God, what, really?" You know, I couldn't believe it. So this was at a beginning time for me in business, and I had a lot of stuff going on. And so the night before had been online and booking hotel room and stuff like that. And I lived in this great little quaint little neighborhood in the country. I wasn't too worried about much. So I had left my purse in the car overnight and my cell phone. And that happened to be the night that some hooligans were running around the neighborhood, stealing things out of people's cars. So that night, my purse was stolen and my phone. And in that purse was my driver's license, my credit cards, everything. And so I spent the next few hours that morning after I figured it out, calling the sheriff's department, calling everybody I could think of, thinking, what am I going to do? So long story short, or maybe longer, I don't know. But my friend Jessica Armstrong had volunteered to go with me on the trip because I was a nervous wreck. And so thank God she did, because got to the airport and I barely got on the plane. They made me wear this big scarlet letter saying no ID, you know, and it was after, 9/11. So it was touch and go that they would even let me on the plane. And then I get on the plane and I sit in gum. And who sits in gum on an airplane? You know, it was the crazy, just everything. Get to the airport and I'm not thinking, okay, I got to get a rental car. Well, we go to the rental car department. I can't get a rental car. I don't have a driver's license. There you go. Yet again, thank you, Jessica, for being with me on this trip. So she got the rental car. We get to the hotel, and guess what? Christi forgot all of her makeup for her TV audition in Waco. So we went to Rite Aid, and Jessica, yet again, used her credit card and bought me makeup at Rite Aid. So all of these things, hi, Nancy, thank you. All of these things, going on. And I had to stop and think, because, you want to go, is this telling me something? Do I need to not do this? And I think, like I told you yesterday, I had the words of my mother came poof right back in my head. And she said, Christi, God doesn't do evil things. He doesn't make evil things happen. So, he did not make that kid steal your purse out of the car. So maybe you got some good stuff coming in your life and you need to go, but this is just some ugly stuff trying to keep you from going. And it worked out. So.
Yeah. Because that was my question yesterday. You've kind of already alluded to it. Is like, especially when you on the way there, but then, well, I do want you to tell your, what happened during the audition, but I'm going to tell that first and then I'll ask the question.
Okay.
I love that too. So go ahead.
So we get to West Hollywood, and this is so out of my realm of reality. And they had the audition in a house. So it was okay. It was laid back. And thank God Paige wasn't there, or else that might have sent me over the top. But they had table full of producers. They had lights and everything, cameras set up in the living room by a fireplace. And they had a girl pretending to be Paige that was going to interview me. And so they made me do a couple of scenes. And again, thank goodness I had watched the show, because I would not have known what to do.
Did your homework.
So we shot a couple of those. We did the interview, and then as we're in the back, and the microphone guy's taking my microphone out, because when they put those microphones on you, they drop it down your shirt and they bring it back, and they get real fresh and frisky with you. And I had my big concho belt. I always wore those big silver concho belts, and one of the producers said, "Man, that's a big old belt." And I said, Yep, that's my World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. Don't you be messing with me. And I thought they were going to roll. They laughed so hard and they said, yeah, we got our female Frank right here. So Frank Bilek, if you're out there, I'm the you in female.
That's incredible. So you were kind of hired. Now how long was it before they told you that you had the position?
Oh gosh, maybe a week.
Okay.
They made me jump through some more hoops when I got back. I had to send them more presentations. I had to do a color rendering. I had to do other things. They wanted to make sure that I could really do the work. So it might have taken more than a week. It might have taken a couple of weeks. They even called references. They called people and asked them about me.
Oh, wow. Well, pretty interesting. So do you remember where you were when you got the call and how you felt when you received the call?
I think I was at work, and at this point, it had gotten so far. I think I kind of had that inkling in the back of my head that this may happen. Wow. And so it was almost like walking in a fog. Mm-hmm. And I think it really didn't really hit me until after I'd finished shooting my first episode.
Mm-hmm. At any time that you, during this process or that you were on the show, but I didn't kind of ask you this way yesterday, so I'm kind of throwing something at you here, but it's live, it's okay. But anyway, at any time, did you really think, this is happening, this is great, this is it? Or did you have that where fear just overcame you and thought, what have I got myself into? And it's like, really?
No. I mean, it was so fast paced that I didn't really have time. I think I was so tired the first year that I don't remember having a chance to go, what am I doing? Crazy. I mean, it was almost surreal, really almost surreal. And you literally, when you worked on the show, you went from flying out of the airport to arriving in the town, checking in, making sure you have your rental car, all your directions, finding your place, and then, just going through the motions. And so if you're shooting one episode, it's 2 days of shooting plus a B-roll day, which is the beginning. So you have about a 5-day turnaround, a day of travel, 3 days of shooting, and then a day of going home. Well, I remember the first few months coming home and literally sleeping for almost 2 days because it's such a adrenaline rush. Yeah,
I bet. Now, Teresa asked, I would have been a nervous wreck. How did you get past feeling that way?
I think I am such a complete and total ham that it never fazed me. I'm just wired that way. There's sort of a screw loose or something, I guess.
Oh my God. Now, they said we have a little bit of a spotty signal out there. We seem to be good here. I hope everybody else is good out there too. There's some storms passing through, but it doesn't seem like it's affecting us here. So I'm hoping that's okay. Anyway, what defining moments or lessons did you gain from being on Trading Spaces that helped you to achieve your next goals? It's a two-parter. And then at any time while on the show, did you ever start to question your abilities or career path as a designer?
I really think that Trading Spaces came at a time in my life when my self-esteem probably wasn't as high as it should have been. And I think what it did is it pushed the rest of it out and kind of gave me that extra, because look, I'm at the time I was like a 40-year-old plus size woman from Waco, Texas. And, I wasn't the Barbie doll perfect, person. So I had to let all that go because they hired me anyway, mm-hmm. And the fact that they hired me kind of took that pressure off of the perfect Barbie doll thing that everybody, and it's out there now. I mean, if you look at a lot of those shows that are on the other channels now, I mean, it's like everybody's been lifted and tucked and fixed and perked and everything. And honey, that ain't happening here. Sit here like this. Here, let me talk to you for the rest of the time like this. Anyway, so that really helped me get through that. And then what it did is it helped me be willing to step forward and work through and go for some things that came forward, like designing lamps for a company called Guildmaster. I just did it, starting Moon Rain. I just did it. So it gave me a lot of confidence.
Right. Now, and that's what I want to talk about next too, is that, after the show ended, you, like you just said, you just did it. You did not, moving forward the show ending didn't end your life. You know what I'm saying? You just kept on, you hit the ground running, and you had these ideas about these lamps for a long time. And I remember that's when I first met you, was at Guildmasters up in High Point. And, your designs were just incredible. And you just went bam, you just hit the ground running. And then I want you to talk about, you opened your store. We'll talk about that. So talk about your lamps first. I'm jumping ahead because I get excited.
Yeah, I still have one of those umbrellas too. She just said she still has one of the old Guildmaster Christi Proctor umbrellas. I still have one too. Because of Trading Spaces, I was asked to do an event, and through that event, I got to meet the Guildmaster team. And so I went ahead and just put the word out there that I wanted to design a product line. I'd always wanted to do it. And like you said, I've been doing the lamps for years and love doing stuff like that. So long story short on that one, I got the gig. It was great. I worked with one of the most amazing designers I've ever worked with in my life, Mike Sandell. And he's older than me, but I jokingly tell him he's my twin brother that's, way older than me. But we had so much fun. We designed like 80 SKUs and did all that. And then when that ended, it was a void. I really missed it. And there was a line called Double D Ranch that I had loved for years. And they had this bedding collection, and they had stopped working on that as well. They still do pillows and things. But I thought, that's where my heart is, designing these things. I love doing it for my clients, and I want to do this, but I don't want to do it in China. That was a hard thing to deal with, was China. And when you work overseas, you got given them a lamp that looks a certain way, and you get 50 of them that looks 10 times different than the sample you left there. You're out of luck. I mean, it's a whole, you have to have deep pockets and a lot of patience and a lot of resources to do that. And I thought, you know what? I want to do something made in the USA. And it was during a time when so many places in North Carolina and places like that had shut down because, everything went overseas. And I thought, I want to help contribute to bringing that back. And so that's where my bedding line came from. And I'm still small, and I make it all in Texas. Hi, Lorinda. Sick and bears.
Is that a saying y'all have? Because I have not heard that.
Yeah, that's, hey, sick and bears. We've always got the bears close by here.
Oh, there you go.
So anyway, that's when I decided the bedding line had to stay here, and that's where it came from. And then 3 years ago, my life changed dramatically with a divorce and starting over, and taking care of myself, and that's a big change. That's a hard thing to do at 50, And well, I wasn't quite 50 at the time, but I should say that out loud. But anyway,
it's out now. It's
out. So anyway, that's when I decided to open my shop and include, like, behind the wall back here is my factory and that kind of thing. So, and Lorinda sends me back a bunch of little bears.
That's cute.
That's funny.
Now, real quick, I have a couple questions here for you. How long were you on Trading Spaces?
I was on 4 years.
4 years?
The last 4, 2003 to 7, before they canceled it.
Yeah. And you have any children? You have one son, right?
I have one son who is now 18 and about ready to go to college, believe it or not. I have a stepson that is almost 30. And now I have two, I've remarried very happily. Thank you. I have two new stepsons and a stepdaughter, and I have two granddaughters now. So,
oh, welcome to the grandparent club. So sorry, I didn't mean to stop your flow there of talking, but had those questions. But I want to go back to your moon rain line, and I just want to say to everyone, if you have not seen it yet, then Christi you have a Facebook page, Christi?
I do. I have two. I have Moon Rain, and Sandra, if you don't mind writing this on there, it's MOONREIN, like the reins on a horse. I see you can put little banners things up there. And I have a Facebook page for that. It's called Moon Rain Bedding Company.
Is the Facebook page Moon Rain Bedding or Moon Rain?
Moon REIN Bedding Company. And then I have Christie's, which is the same way you spell my name, Interiors. And that's the other Facebook page. So that's my retail page. And Moon Rain Bedding Company is the wholesale, because I sell to the trade and to designers. But I sell my bed. There it is. I sell my bedding. Thanks, Nancy. Nancy says it's awesome. Nancy's awesome. So I sell Moon Rain to the trade, and then I also sell it retail in my shop in Waco. So, and I also, thanks, Teresa. Mm-hmm. Teresa says she loves the name.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk more about how you came about that name too. But Lorinda says, we knew this was going to come up. She wanted to know if you are going to. Oh, we missed that when she said Sikkim. She said.
No, I thought for some reason that came up twice. So.
That wasn't the question. Sorry.
I think, did I just see it come up? She wants to know if any chance you'll be on the New Trading Spaces. I wish, but I have a sneaking suspicion they're not going to holler at me. So, but that's okay. I mean, you know what? You can still come see me. And Sandra now has gotten me all excited and inspired about this Facebook Live thing she's doing. So I may copycat her. I may do the same thing.
I hope you do.
Easy now.
Except I don't have a Kenny V.
Kenny V travels.
It may be a good place for the world to meet my husband, David.
Yes.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Hurst man. He's Hurst man.
But yes, and Sandy Brink, yes, if you go to her Moon Rain Bedding Company Facebook page, you can see that it is.
Don't do it till after we get through, Sandy.
Yeah. Hang there for and Nancy said, yes, Moon Rain is awesome. And Teresa loves the name. So let's go back real quick to the name. How did you come about that name?
Okay, so you alluded to this earlier. I am a horse person. I love horses. And when I hit 40, and this is another one of those stepping out on a limb things, I had always wanted one. And I told myself, if I don't get a horse now, I will never do it in my life. And so I bought my first horse, and I thought, okay, I want to show horses. I want to go to events. I don't want to just play in the pasture and not know. I want to know how to ride. I want to do something. And so a bunch of my friends were involved in a sport called reining, and it's REIN, reining. And there's a group called the National Reining Horse Association, or NRHA, out of Oklahoma City. And I joined, and I started going to all these horse shows, and I started competing. Well, I really learned how to ride. Well, it became quite the addiction for me. And so, and I'd always had this fantasy of a romantic horseback ride in the moonlight with a picnic and la la la. And so when I was thinking of romantic names for the bedding company, because, you know, people don't do enough for themselves in their bedroom. And so that's kind of where this came from. And so I thought, okay, on a moonlit ride. So the logo, when you go look at it, is a big full moon with two riderless horses. Key word, riderless. So those two are having a rendezvous moon rain style while the horses are grazing under the full moon. So there you go.
I love it. So yes, definitely y'all check it out. And that line is actually wholesale to the trade. And that means that it's not so retail, but where can people find it if they want to purchase some of the bedding?
Well, all they've got to do is contact me on the Moonrain page, and if I've got a retailer in your area, I can hook you up and you can go right over and see some of it from some of the stores out there. If not, if we can't find somebody close to you, I've got the retail store here in Waco and I can do that as well, which is Christi's.
It is, and I will tell you, once you all see the line, it is luscious. And I remember when you first came out, because we had the blanket line, and that velvet, I wanted blankets out of that velvet at one time. I couldn't get my hands on it. But anyway, it is so luscious. The pillows are so, the detail on them and your creative spirit into there is, you have trims and buttons and I can't explain it all, but you all just have to look at it because it's incredible. And I love it. And so, Kevin is so funny. You've got to meet Kevin.
I saw that.
This man, I speak to him often because he can cheer you up in his flat second. And the things you two would love to be in the same room together because you would laugh the whole time, so much like, and he's funny. I don't know how he comes up with these things, but even Kim's laughing. So we are kind of running out of some time. We're going to run over a little bit tonight, y'all. So just because I'm not done asking Christi questions, but we're almost there. I knew we'd run over. Kim took so long.
Normally you accuse me of being too short and brief.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, here we go.
What's the last name that just made the comment? Let's don't jump in there, Kevin.
Yeah, it's funny. What did he say? I didn't.
Okay. Let it go.
Anyway, you have the store and you have Moonrain, and in it, I always ask my guest, did you have a business plan? Because I know, we believe that nothing gets in God's way, and if it's meant to be, it will be. But I also believe that we need to have a plan, because you don't want to miss an opportunity when it knocks, and you have to be clear and concise about your path.
There is nothing wrong with walking forward and waiting to see if the doors open or close.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to ask you in all that you're doing, and I know I'm going to ask you in a few minutes, what's next? Do you have a plan?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So are you asking me, did I have a business plan or do I have a future plan? What are you asking?
Well, it's a business plan, but of course, a business plan, you incorporate your personal life as well. You kind of know here the end game.
Yeah,
you're here, and how you're going to work to get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will tell you that I've been working on this business for a while, but when my life changed and I had to take care of myself and be on my own, that completely changed the gear. That completely changed the whole game, the whole thing. And boy, it's been a rocky, rocky road. But my original vision that I had several years ago is coming back now and hopefully to fruition. I'm still in the process of working on it, but there is, with Waco having the boom that it's having right now, there's only so long TV shows last. And so we hope that Chip and Joanna last a really long time. And they keep bringing 35,000 people a week to Waco, 35,000 people a week. And they're downtown and they're in the Silo district, which means you got to come too. So There on my block on Austin Avenue, there's a new place coming in across the street that has 10,000 square feet of vendors. There's a shop next door to me. There's my little 2,000 square foot shop. Well, next door is a building that's about total 8,000 square feet that a very dear friend of mine owns. And it was the Blanton's Flour Company from 1935 to 1995. And she has agreed to sell me this business. Not the business, but the building. If I can get all my ducks in a row and get all my bids in and get all my financing done, then my plan, my goal, my end game is to buy that building and there's a mezzanine in it. And so I want to build an apartment in there for David and I to live till we get things going. And then there's also another 5,000 square feet that we can lease to other vendors and start over kind of like a mini spice thing and sell Moon Rain and have my factory in there and have all my ducks in a row under one little roof. So that's the goal in the end game. And in the midst of all of that, you've got me inspired now. I've been wanting to do my videos again, wanting to do my how-to videos and doing stuff. So I prefer this. I prefer the interaction instead of just a stagnant, you know, okay, here, I'm going to make my little lampshade today. You know, I would really rather do this. Yeah. So now you got me inspired. You just watch. I think I'm going to do me a Be Live Facebook Live thing, and I'm going to jump on and I'm going to join you.
I would love to have you do that. I'm waiting for it. And
you inspired me.
And we want to be on your show.
Yes. And Ruth said that you did a great job, by the way.
Thank you, Ruth.
I could talk to you all night long, but we are running out of time. I'm going to have to have you come back. When you get ready to do your show, we'll invite everyone to your show, okay?
Thank you.
So, but anyway, I have one more question for you, and that is, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to someone who has a dream of owning their own business?
Ooh, besides run? No, I'm kidding. You know, again, business plan. I mean, and that's a hard thing because I wasn't the best about having mine all pulled together either. And it's all about, and that's the hard thing I've learned in the last couple of years. You have to do things yourself in order to really have a realization of what's going on in your business. You have to be on top of your books. You have to be on top of everything. And you can't just let it go and let somebody else do it and just live in your own little la-la land. And I've done that. And so be prepared to be on top of everything. Be prepared to have money that you can live off of as this is going. Put that in your plan because it's tough when you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Mm-hmm. And then find help marketing. That's been my biggest downfall. And so that's all going to change this year. So learn from my sores and my scars and my scrape.
Great. Christi, it's been great reconnecting with you, live as opposed to just seeing you on Facebook. And I wish you much success.
Well, thank you all too.
And you definitely, we got Scoochie in here. Which way do we go? A tape on. And he always wears tape.
Oh, okay.
Always wears the blue painter's tape on his shirt, always.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But, so again, everyone, I just want to say that you can find Christi at Christi's and Facebook page and Moon Rain Bedding Facebook page. So reach out to her there. And you said you had a website too, right?
I do. I have christisinteriors.com. It's still in the process. And I have moonrain.com, but we're rebuilding that right now. So all the social media is probably the best place to do it. Instagram, Christi's_shop. And Moon Rain is just the two words together, Moon Rain on Instagram.
Yes, great. And hang on real quick. And it says, your story is so great, Christi.
Thanks, Ruth.
And then Donna says, thanks, Kim, Sandra, and Christi. Great show. Thank you, Donna. Oh, you've got to meet Donna, too. She's a pillow queen. Ruth is up in Minnesota. And she does great work, too. And Donna is the pillow queen. Her pillows are incredible. The work that she does as well. She's out of Atlanta. We have some really talented folks here.
Love it.
But anyway, yes, we will post, Teresa, we will post the links to the Facebook page. How about that? We'll definitely do that. And Kevin said, awesome. We would like to get into some importing too. And I'm like, I don't know about that. That's a journey in its own. But anyway, Before we get off here tonight, I just want to remind everybody that I will have the book club tomorrow morning. I've already posted the link on Live with Sandra V Facebook page as well as New Textile. We join Wednesday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are currently reviewing the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. We're going to review chapter 2 because I had problems last week. And Kimberly said, good luck. Thanks. So much fun. And Kim's our upholstery queen, I shouldn't say queen, up in Massachusetts, Kim's Upholstery. I should have you all start typing in your businesses in here. So go ahead and do that. Post in your Facebook page.
Have them in there. We can network.
Yes, this is what it's all about. So start posting that out there. I actually have a video. My cornice board video is on Kim's and Bill's upholstery site, Kim's Upholstery, and they've got a membership site as well. Awesome. And they are live every Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on Kim's Upholstery Facebook page. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. But we will not be here next week. We are going to spend some time with our family. So we're going to skip a week, and we will be back here on July 25th. So hope that you all come back here and join us. And there's a delay. We have about a 15-second delay. So Kevin Kais, like me, I need the celeb sponsors. You have got to meet him. Oh my gosh, you got to meet it. We've got a great group here. I don't mean to single people out, but you guys put things out there and just spark my mind. Anyway, so again, Christy, thank you. And thank you, everybody. And we will definitely talk soon, Christy. And we will see everybody else either tomorrow morning or in 2 weeks. So good night, everyone.
Night.
Until then.
Until next time, get your tape on. Be prepared to mark that spot.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. I hope you liked the video. And be sure to follow me on social media. Here, here, and here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever I post my next video.